Do you remember how you were sent out to Italy?
On a boat?
Yeah.
An American boat. That's where I learnt that they had if you went for a bath, or in a wash even, you had to use salt water soap. I don't know whether you know of that or not. Yeah, you had to use this soap, otherwise you couldn't get any lava. That's with salt water. Because then when we landed, it was all, there was a little theatre on there, not a theatre exactly, but cinema it was. And it was all built under the ground. Everything was underground. And you was never out of firing range either. This went on all the time. They used to bombard us from Rome. Because the boys knew what gun it was being fired, of course. You got used to it, and they used to go around and find a better housing. Because we used to sleep in the ground, under the ants, with the ants and everybody else. They were so used to sleep together, obviously, and because it was all ants, anything. Life was all sorts under there was. And the only bath we had was occasionally when all the fighting had stopped for a while. And then a shower that was an outdoor shower. And you could then get a shower, but that was the only time. Otherwise, you could stay dressed up, as it were, for weeks on end you could do. It wasn't a regular thing. So sometimes it was quite tragic in a way when you thought about it.
And can you describe the conditions on the troop ship?
It was an American ship, and I would describe it as quite good, actually, on the American ship. Probably better than but I'll tell you this, when we went across on this boat, I don't know, I would tell it that this toilet was a trough on the boat. And everything went down this trough. And that's it, that was the toilet. So that was pretty hard going really when you think about it. I tried not to say too much because we had a lady friend there. So I think she's quite broad-minded. But that was the worst part of it. I slept in the bunk and fell out, and but they used to have sons get kippers for breakfast. And I used to eat these kippers, and other people wandering up on the deck for obvious reasons.
Was it very crowded aboard the ship?
Yes, it was quite crowded, yeah. Because not only were they sleeping underneath, but it was also in this above the, and sometimes, of course, somebody would fall out. I mean, when we were going out, I remember travelling in this train, and I slept in that wire, the cage along the top. I slept in there. And they tied me in case I fell out. They didn't want me to fall on top of them. God, that was some journey. I always remember that coming home on lip, because we got a month's leave when the war ended, really. We come back to England. And that was like that then. And it was so cold it was that we'd do anything to get warm. We used to queue up for a sleeping bag, but you never got there because it took too long. He was back on the train again, down to Calais, and that was our leave. Got a month's leave he did then.
And on the ship, were people afraid of submarines?
I suppose they were really, yeah. Although we didn't think about it, they were. We all were really. It did enter our minds because you could get submarines, couldn't you?
And did the ship actually land at Anzio?
Yes, it did.
What was the procedure for disembarking?
In an ordered fashion, I would say. Somebody in charge, of course, took charge and directed us in certain ways, I suppose, I would say. I don't really remember that bit very well.
And what was your impression when you saw the situation at Anzio?
I suppose one could say a bit shocking, really. And it was really. So it was never out of shell firing or anything like that. Never out of range of it. It was always possible for somebody to, be in the firing line.
And were there a lot of mosquitoes?
Did have those, yeah, we had mosquitoes, yeah. Yes, we did. Some people got malaria, some didn't for some reason or other. You used to get those, what they used to call mepiquine tablets. You've heard about them, haven't you? You used to have to take them. And some of them used to try to avoid taking them, but I always took mine. But that's the reason I never got it, I don't know. But a lot of people did get it.
And can you describe the conditions at the front at Anzio?
Well, one of them we used to go out to on Anzio was last night. We used to go off last night and return last light in the morning. And I've seen people say their prayers in there. I'll tell you something that might shock you really. Not really, well I suppose it is really what we used to do. We ended up on guard in this place, it's in Italy. And to cook the food, they used to get hold of, those jerry cans with a screw top, you've probably seen them. You used to have one of them and they used to put petrol in it to a certain level and make a hole just above, the level of the... And they used to put another sort of smaller can underneath that and boil the petrol. And they used to cook their food with that. And that was dangerous, that was, because that had gone up, we'd all gone up. It was dangerous. He'd done some dangerous things, I know that, in that reconnaissance. There was one case where we got cut off by a flood. And they used to have this white scout car that we used to call them. And they couldn't start the engine on this thing. So somebody got one of them cans of ketchup I'm talking about and poured it down the carburettor. So we was living by this dangerous circle all the time, wasn't we, really? It didn't go up, obviously, but if it had done, we'd have all gone again.
Was there a system of trenches at Anzio?
Yes, there was. When we first went on, there were trenches, yeah. And of course, the danger of these trenches is when they launch those mortar bombs, it come down in the trenches. And of course they explode in the trench itself, because it sees you off, if you like to put it that way. There was one in there, that one fellow in there, stark raving mad, he must have been, but what he'd done was he'd launched this mortar bomb out where we were. Instead of a flight path like you would expect, it didn't do a spike, it fell short. And he must have been mad to have done what he did, but it's a good thing he did do it. He grabbed hold and he said, "What's wrong with it?" and threw it over the top. I always remember that fellow doing that. So he really saved our lives, although it was mad what he'd done.
And after you'd got off the ship at Anzio, were you...
Going into Anzio, yeah.
Yeah. Were you sent straight to the trenches?
Not to an extent. It was a bit further in then in those days than what it was when we first went there. They'd moved further in. But some people had a terrible time, really, to it. As I said before, why we do it, I don't know. You see, what I was going to tell you, what I noticed, this is going back a bit now, when we did this stretcher bearing. It occurred to me then that death is peace. Because your worries are all gone, everything's gone. Yeah, forget that. I always remember that. Death is peace.
And how did you come to be a stretcher bearer?
I think it's just a case of who was there to do the job, actually, to be quite honest with you. That's how it come out. Anybody could have been picked onto, but somebody had to do it, and that was it.
And what were your everyday jobs at Anzio?
Just protection of the premises where you'd got, I suppose, really. It wasn't any basic job because we used to... Another funny thing is that you're talking about that. When you've experienced it, you might have done, might not. It was in this place and they told you not to look ahead permanently, because if you looked ahead permanently, the trees changed places. They didn't really, but they did change places. And unless you took your eyes off the object, you'd fall for it, wouldn't you? You know, you think so. They used to take it in turns. So I saw a cartoon in the paper one day about that, and I thought, so that's true. That is, it said if it moves, slopes it. This sort of business, you know.